With the release of Toy Story 5 in just 18 days, it's time to go back and review every single installment in this franchise. The movies, the spin-offs, the shorts, the short films, all of it. I decided to make a series dedicated to reviewing the entire Toy Story franchise because, if you can't tell, Toy Story is my favorite movie of all time, and I just absolutely love this franchise. So, let's go back to the first film to start this entire franchise off, the original Toy Story, released in 1995. And let's just start by talking about the impact that this movie made back in the day. Now, this movie was in production for about 5 years. They were never able to get the script to work. There was just so much trial and error, and they were struggling with making this movie. And the reason why they kept going back and kept looking at the script is because they knew that this movie needed to land. If this movie didn't land, this new animation style wouldn't work. Many past studios have rejected him because of this animation style. They always said it wouldn't work. People like this 2D animation style that Disney made popular. But little did they know, in November of 1995, a movie called Toy Story would come out and make a huge impact on the world, changing animation forever. I stand on this hill that if this movie was not good, if this movie didn't land, we will not have this animation style, because the movie absolutely needed to land. Well, thankful enough, the movie did. They eventually got the script down, making it into this cult classic that is still one of the best movies of all time, and is my favorite movie of all time. When you go back and rewatch this movie now, sure, the animation may have aged a slight bit because we're used to newer stuff. If you look at the animation we get in Toy Story 5, it looks hyper-realistic. If you look at even stuff outside of Pixar and Disney, we get animation styles such as Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Into the Spider-Verse. This new animation style that is now shaping the form of modern animation. But back in the day, the animation that you see in the first Toy Story is something phenomenal, that this movie was considered such a huge event back in the day because of this new animation style. And even to this day, this movie has aged extremely well. Now, I of course knew this because I rewatched it countless of times. But if it's been a while since you have seen the first Toy Story movie, it has aged like nothing ever happened in between. This movie did a lot. It started Pixar, it changed the course of animation, and made such a cult classic of a story, and was able to shape these characters, this dynamic, and make you fall in love with these characters that Toy Story was considered everywhere at the time. And even to this day, this movie was able to make such the impact that Toy Story is still popular to this day. There are plenty of franchises out there that has such a big impact like Toy Story did back in the past, but then eventually died off. Not Toy Story. Because that first movie made such an impact and worked extremely well, even after sequel after sequel, and still worked so well that even people to this day still know these characters. That's just the magic that Pixar had in the past. Because it's not just Toy Story, it's also their other movies that Pixar had. Pixar made such an impact in the past that even 30 years later, their oldest movie is still able to work. I advise you guys, if it's been a while since you've seen this film, go back, rewatch it. It'll just show you what everything looked like back in the day, how it all started, and just the cult classic that this film is. When talking about the movie itself, we of course have to talk about Woody and Buzz, this iconic duo that Pixar's first iconic duo that they made so special to begin with. The movie plays it smartly because when the movie first starts, you of course get the banter between Buzz and Woody the entire time. That is the entire heart of the movie and why the movie works as well as it does for me, because it is absolutely hilarious to watch. And throughout the entire film, you're just seeing them grow closer and closer together while still having that back and forth dynamic. And I'm so glad we're getting that dynamic back in Toy Story 5 because it works extremely well in this movie, and I feel like people just underestimate that. And of course, by the end of the movie, we get the iconic duo that shaped the entirety of Pixar. There is a reason why Pixar keeps going back to Toy Story to make sequels, is because these characters are just so iconic. We cannot let the Toy Story franchise die because their entire brand was built off of Toy Story. They made all these iconic characters to begin with because of Toy Story. Toy Story branched everything off for Pixar. And speaking of that, this movie is absolutely hilarious. You get characters like Mr. Potato Head and Ham being absolute fan favorites when it comes to the comedy. When you're watching this film as a kid, all these jokes just pass over your head that when you watch it now when you're older, you just absorb them. This movie is absolutely hilarious. Like I said, the dynamic between Woody and Buzz is a huge factor of that, but also we get these jokes that Mr. Potato Head makes and Ham that you can't believe just completely flew over your head when you watched this film in the past, and it's just now that you're recognizing all of them. But Pixar was able to crack the code for storytelling. And they used that code for every single animated movie that they made all the way up until Toy Story 3. This film struggled behind the scenes. It almost did not work. They almost had to cancel this movie. Originally, Woody was this unlikable character. He was basically the villain of the story. He basically treated all these other toys as if they were living in a boot camp. Can you imagine that? Pixar would not have started the way they did, but because they switched Woody up and because they just completely reworked the entirety of the story, Pixar branched off into what we know as Pixar and started that completely fantastic era of movies from 1995 to 2010. But why is this my favorite movie of all time? Why does this film connect to me the most compared to every other movie out there? To me, this film has always resonated with me. It's the reason why I love movies in the first place. It's the reason why I love Pixar in the first place. Essentially, Pixar as a whole is why I love movies in the first place, but if you truly dial it down, Toy Story was really my first introduction. We see these characters. We see Andy playing with his toys, showing this childlike nature to this entire world, and then we dim it down. We make things smaller and focus on the storyline that we normally don't get to focus on. What if these toys were alive? We get to see that whole routine play out. To me, this film is crafted so smartly. It's almost like the movie starts off slower, introducing everything, and ramps up slowly and slowly over time. A good example is Star Wars: A New Hope. It starts off, you have no idea what is happening until the movie slowly and slowly introduces more things at the end. That's kind of what Toy Story does to me. It's very much introducing this world of Pixar and of Toy Story. We get to see more of these characters, and just as a movie alone, it works as just a standoff version. Introduces us to these iconic characters, to this iconic everything. And it's a film that truly started off my favorite studio of all time and introduced my love to movies. This movie just holds a special place in my heart alone, and that is why it's my favorite movie of all time. After Toy Story, when it comes to every single one of Pixar's movies, they all just hold a special place in my heart. I love Pixar as a whole. They shaped my love for movies, and every single one of their movies is an absolute classic that you cannot argue against. And all of that just started with Toy Story, so it just means a lot more to me. A lot of people say Toy Story 3 is the best, Finding Nemo's the best, The Incredibles is the best. It varies depending on opinion, but to me, Toy Story is just always going to hold a special place in my heart, making it my favorite movie of all time. Anyways, if you like this video, make sure you look out for my Toy Story 2 review and the rest of the reviews coming in this franchise. Like, subscribe. We're 4 away from 1,000 subscribers currently when filming this. And see you guys next time. Goodbye.